Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and these are Charter Moms chats. We've been going live to help families get the information they need to find schools that are the right fit for their kids. And also, teenagers can tune in too, because when they get to high school, they should definitely have a say in their education. So today we have a student panel, and these are all students who attend different CAST schools campuses. So that's the blog post that we featured on our website today. We've just updated the enrollment guide blog post about CAF schools, and I'm really excited to get to talk to this team. So let me talk about who we've got. So let's see, Adrian Hernandez is a senior at Kest STEM High School. Hello, thanks, Adrian. We also have Trinity Williams, who's a junior at Kest Tech High School. And then he's having a little bit of technical issues. Let's see if I can add him back in. Okay, so Michael is a senior at ALA, which is also known as Advanced Learning Academy. And thank you all for joining me on Charter Moms Chats and sharing your perspective so that families and students can learn more about CAS schools. Okay, so the first question I want to throw out there is maybe for folks who aren't familiar with CAS schools yet, and if one of y'all could explain, like, what is the mission and vision of CAS schools? Michael, do you want to take that one, or Adrian?
So for me, CAS STEM and also CAS schools, it's a unique school that allows you to gain real life experiences, where you get to partner up with the industry leaders. You get to work with the teachers as well, hands-on activities. While we're all networking together to provide the students what they need, while the teachers and the partnerships and the industry leaders are all partnering together to provide us what we need after graduating high school. So this is also a great way to also be able to learn more about the real life experiences while having the support that you need from the teachers.
That's great. That's a really great introduction. So, Michael, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, just adding to that, CAS schools really provide just like such a personalized experience for everybody, and just life. They are so good at setting you up for just everything. I like their motto. They go setting you up for college and for your career and just life. And I think that is so true. The connections that you build and the connections that are accessible to all students at CAS Network really make it unique. So, yeah.
That's great. Okay, well, I want to ask each of you to tell like which CAS schools campus you're at, what pathway you've chosen, and if you can give an example of like an experience at your school that you've really enjoyed. So, Michael, since you're on screen, we'll go to you first, and then we'll do Trinity and then Adrian. So, Michael, you're at Advanced Learning Academy. So, can you talk about like yeah what you're studying there?
Awesome. So I want to, in my future go into the STEM field, and I've received a lot of support from ALA. ALA is not really super specialized in one specific thing like the other CAS schools. We're kind of make ourselves well-rounded, and focus more on our methods of teaching, project-based learning. Um, but I think I've been really supported by just like ALA specifically, a lot with like the internships that I've been provided and many opportunities to just like kind of get more in touch with STEM, and speaking out to others that a future STEM job would have me do. So yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. Okay, Trinity, let me put you on deck. Hey, so can you talk? So you are a junior at Cass Tech, which is actually in the same kind of the same building as ALA. But can you talk more about like what pathway you've chosen, and what are some experiences at Cass Tech that have been really meaningful for you?
Yeah, so I'm at Cass Tech. We share a campus with both Fox Tech and ALA. I am in the cybersecurity pathway, and I came here for the cybersecurity program. But we also have business and user experience, which is basically making a product good for the user to use. So making it user friendly, making it appealing to the eye, making it easy to go around, things like that. But I knew I wanted to do cybersecurity since I was in middle school. And so when I came here, I saw how forward thinking the school was, and everything here is set up like a college. And I really liked that. And they have a lot of opportunities and they network a lot. So I I benefited from the internships and the volunteer experience, and also just things that the teachers recommended to me, because since it's such a small school, you can have a really good relationship with the teachers. So they'll be like, hey, I found this thing that you might like, or hey, I found this competition that you would be good for. And it is really, really helpful. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, that's one of the things. Just like in general, like SHR moms, like we're presenting to families like, hey, there's all these specialized schools across San Antonio. It just can be hard to navigate, and that's where we come in and try to help families find the one that's the right fit. But it's what you're talking about, where like it's a smaller environment. There's there's pathways that you find like the faculty who are really interested in what you're interested in, and everyone gets to know each other, and they can point you to those extra resources. So that's great. Like Trinity, that really demonstrates like the power of school choice and being in the right place. It's great that you could identify that even in middle school. So okay, Adrian, I'm going to put you on deck. So you're at CASTEM. So can you talk about like what pathways you're studying at CASTEM?
Yes, so I chose the it's now called the Renewable Energy Pathway. Originally, it was not the first pathway that I wanted to take. I wanted to take engineering, and then after that, I wanted to take global logistics. However, I stuck with power and renewable energy, and I've learned a lot from it. I've done a lot of industrial machine handling, and not just that, but even at our school, we do OSHA. So you get to get your OSHA certification. As a freshman, I received my 10-hour OSHA certification, and then as a junior, I received my 30-hour OSHA certification. And so I've learned a lot from my pathway, such as more of the oil fields that I wouldn't have ever known that I would have wanted to know. But it's just interested me, and it had to do with a lot of math, which I've always had a weakness for math. But once I became into this pathway, I felt like I can do math, and it's allowed me to open my range of thinking in this power in this um, pathway I've chosen. So I feel like something really meaningful to me here is, to be honest, the teachers. They build really good relationships with us students, and it's impacted me a lot because I wasn't really expecting for my life to kind of go downhill at one point because I lost my father um, to a tragic moment that I wasn't expecting in my life. And the one thing is not even just the teachers, but the staff here too. My principal, who was the former principal here last year, Miss Schaefer, um, she she texted me, Miss Hoffman texted me, Miss Montes texted me. They were all great support systems. And after that, the teachers were just there for me. And so I felt important at my school because not even just me, but I know that a lot of students are also important. But it's just like the fact that the teachers went out of their way to make sure that I was okay is what made me feel important. So that's what I value most.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. What a compelling story. Like relationships really matter. And, it helps students feel like what you're working on is meaningful. And like you said that math is something that was intimidating, but once you knew what it was for, right? It's to understand what's happening in energy, renewable energy. Like it's like, oh, that's why I'm learning algebra. Okay, right. That's the joke. It's like, when do I ever use algebra? Well, turns out you now right. And you made another good point. You mentioned about certifications and I think that's something that runs across the CAST schools campuses is that like students are picking up these certifications along the way. It helps you get more meaningful internship work. It means that once you do go to college, you might not be working in a food service job. You might actually be working in a job that's in your chosen career field. So you're already building knowledge that way. So, and actually, that's a segue into my next question. So, Adrian, since you're on screen, I'll keep you up screen. I'll just reverse the order. Um, so I think one of the parts of the Cal Schools model that I admire the most is the industry partnerships. I think Michael and Trinity both mentioned and so there's mentorships, there's internships, there's projects you get to work on. So what kind of experiences like that have you been able to have? Have you met with mentors? Have you been able to get off campus?
Yeah, so I've actually worked with a few industry leaders and even those that come in when we make our PBLs, which is, if you don't know, project-based learning, where we find a problem in the world and create a solution for it. And so we have judges that come into our school and watch us present. And I actually had the opportunity to talk to one of them because they were one of our partnerships and one of our industry leaders. And we got to talk about like more about my project, why I wanted this to go out. And it was just a great opportunity. And even right now, I'm working on trying to create a library for Cast STEM because we don't have a library. And for me, that's a little like iffy because I like to read sometimes, and I know a lot of my friends like to read as well. So for you just not to have a library at a school, it just kind of, makes you feel motivated to want to make a library here at our school. So right now I'm doing PBL rather than a capstone, and my PBL is trying to get a library here. So I'm working with some of the librarians from Legacy and Southwest, and I'm also working with my teacher, English teacher, Mr. Patino.
Yeah, wow, that's great. Like, and that's like that demonstrates another value of CAF schools. It's like, why am I'm not talking to teachers or marketing people here. I'm talking to students because y'all really are the best people to express, what CAF schools is about. And so yeah, like, and then in your PPL, like you're able to say, you know what, we need a library, we need a space for this, and to work on that.
Yeah.
So that's a great example. Okay, so I'm going to put Trinity up on the screen. So Trinity, can you comment? I know you're a junior, so you might not have had as much opportunity to work on these things as the other guys. But what have you been able to meet with mentor groups? Have you been able to like maybe work on community service projects or internships?
Yeah. So um, one thing about partners that we have is SISD provides a lot of certifications for us. For example, I have um, at least 9 Microsoft certifications, and I
Wow.
took them all for free. And so I'm certified in both 2016 and 2019, like expert. And it was a great opportunity for me. And I've toured when I gave tours to people coming, and I mentioned that they're like, they are just blown away because not a lot of people have that opportunity, and they're like, I wish I could do that, or like, can I hire you, like stuff like that. And it's an all good fun, but in reality it is a very good thing to have to set me apart. And just connections otherwise. Mr. Simandi used to be our networking person, and he runs a nonprofit called Students of Service and SOS. And through him, I was not only able to get service hours, but he took me and about 8 or 9 other students on a trip to South Africa. So we were able to go to South Africa and learn about Nelson Mandela and apartheid and everything that he did. And then we are able to take that knowledge and bring it here and apply that here to help our community. So that was a really great opportunity. And there are just a lot of niche things that the connections that Cast schools and the people at Cast Tech have that I think you can't get anywhere else, really. So
Yeah, yeah. It's that know-how and those caring adults who want to open doors for students. Yeah, I agree. Mr. Smuddy is like he's one of my favorite people, and Students in Service is a great organization. And actually, Amir wrote a guest post on our site, so anyone visiting sachartermoms.com, they can look up the post about Students in Service, and you don't have to be a CAS school student. It's open to teenagers across San Antonio, like whatever school or charter, public, private, homeschool, they can all participate in it, and it really does open doors. It's very very cosmopolitan, like getting to go overseas. So yeah, that's wonderful, and it's it's those connections. It's yeah, like having access to certifications. Isn't there like there's a tax preparation volunteer program at Tech? I don't know if you've been a part of that, but I think it's amazing. Teenagers are like helping people file their taxes.
yeah, last year I only did it 1 year, but I know there's a senior now who has been doing it all 4 years. It's VITA tax certification, and we get certified through VITA, and we volunteer and do people's taxes completely for free. So it was a really great opportunity, and it was great because once I have to file taxes, I know what to look for, and I know, hey, if I have this many people in my household, I can apply to get more money off. So that it is really
Yeah.
useful. Yes.
Yeah, all that know-how, you don't have to be intimidated by it, and in your service project, you're helping save people money, which is great. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put Michael on screen and ask you basically the same question. So, what kind of experiences with mentorships, internships, certifications have you been able to have at ALA?
A really meaningful sort of internship that has opened the doors to a bunch of opportunities was my adventure therapy internship, which is just working with large groups, kind of discussing each other's feelings and everyone's relations to each other. It was really nice because I was able to kind of have my first sort of community project with them. I was going off to our sister campus, Euclid, which is like the pre-kinder through kinder, and I've also worked with our fourth and fifth graders in like large therapy sessions where we all just like focus on collaboration and talk about the importance of teamwork and just kind of passing down like a flow of positive energy. And that was really meaningful to me because I've never done something like that before, and I've never like really led sessions like that or like have touched people that like emotionally that way. And so it meant a lot, and I realized that I really like working with large groups of people, and I like social work, and the inner leader in me came out. Personally, I was really closed off before this internship. I hadn't been put in the spotlight, but I was given the opportunity by my project coordinator. Every school has one to kind of set you up for an internship, so you're for sure going to be able to get what you want, according to your career interests. Um, I was offered that opportunity, and they were like, "It's going to be super fun. You're going to work with a ton of people." And I even got certified in first aid and CPR, and I have an archery instructor license as well. So I was able to teach some sessions with younger kids on how to shoot arrows. So that was really really good opportunity.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, well, thanks for good at like painting the picture for us of that. And like, a theme that's come up a lot, like in our Facebook group and like in some of our guest posts, is that it's just like the amount of stress that students experienced over the past few years because there was so much change and disruption and anxiety, and folks like Adrian who experienced loss in their families, like, and so like, there's a need for people to be able to talk about their feelings and have those spaces, and then like for you to have the opportunity to step up and be a leader and that is great because you're serving, the younger students in your school community, and you're finding talent and interest in yourself that you didn't know about before.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is y'all have done a great job of talking about your specific campus, your pathways, what kind of opportunities you've had, like, but I want to make sure that families know, like how to find out more about Cass schools. Like, hopefully, families and students watching this are getting excited and getting curious. So, I know that there's an info session coming up. I can put that flyer on the screen. See, let me get the right. Oh, there we go. Okay, flyers up on the screen. So, maybe Adrian, can you talk to us more about this?
Yes, so we have a information session coming up from all the schools that will be participating. You can sign up and you can get a tour actually on Tuesday, October 18th at 5:30 at either of the schools. So if you're interested in going into any of these fields that we just talked about or any of these schools that we just talked about, I think this is a great opportunity for you, especially if you want to become prepared after high school from the amazing teachers and staff and everywhere that we have here at Cass Schools. And I think it would be a good fit for you if you're interested because you could be the next innovator and help change the world.
Hey, that's great. Okay, well, I'm going to keep this up on screen for just a little bit. I'm going to talk about some of the research or links that I found that we put in the enrollment guide blog post. So, just to kind of recap, so we've been talking about the Cass Schools Network, and there's a website, castschools.com. For anyone listening on the podcast, it's cast CAST and then schools .com, and then on that page there's a tab called Apply Now, and that's got a ton of information. There's a different tab for each campus, and that has things like to find tours, to sign up for the interest list, and then specifically so the QR code on the screen that works, but there's also if you do castschools.com/apply-now/campus-tour, that takes you to more details about the October 18th event. And even if you don't sign up for the October 18th event, there will be more opportunities. There's always a chance if you could just reach out directly to the campus and ask like, hey, what's up? How do I learn more? And then I guess it's too complicated for me to go into right now. But each school has an open enrollment period, It's a little different depending on who the district partner is, right? So I guess represented here, we have two schools that are part of partnerships with SAIC, right? So that's ALA and Cass Tech, but Cass STEM is a partnership with Southwest ISD. So each district partner has their own open enrollment timeline. So those details are in the enrollment guide blog post. There's also just like, contact the folks at Cass schools or contact the campus. They want to help families get enrolled. So anyway, that's my advice. But yeah, like Adrian said, there's this great opportunity on October 18th at 5:30 p.m. to do the campus tour and the information session. And I've been to a couple of the campuses. They're very impressive. Like you really need to see the architecture and to see like the student work and just get the vibe, because it's not like a typical high school. So do each one of y'all want to offer kind of a closing thought or kind of words of advice or encouragement to students who might be tuning in? So how about let's start with Trinity. Is that okay?
So definitely, if you want to learn more, I know that we have tours going on a lot. And even if you don't book like an official tour, like if you come, and everyone here is super friendly. So if you come like, hey, I'm learning about the school, then they'll set up a tour for you, and you'll either get a tour led by me or by one of another student or something like that. All of our tours are led by students. So it is a great way to get more information, and from a perspective that isn't just an administrator being like, hey, our school is amazing, there's nothing wrong. Like if you ask us questions, we're going to answer them as honestly as we can. So that is the best way that's the best way that you can learn about Cass Tech. But if you visit the website, I think we have an Instagram, and our Instagram shows a lot of how us as students are. We're we're not playful, but we're very like lighthearted, and it's just really great to like find us on social media and find the stuff that we do. And if you feel like you don't belong, then I feel Cass Network is perfect for you, because I think we're all just a bunch of geeks, at least here. It's techie school. So if you ever felt like you didn't belong, like I came from a private school. This is my first public or charter school that I've gone to, and I absolutely love it. So if you have that feeling like, I don't know, like regular public schools might seem too easy, but like private schools might be a bit too daunting, then I feel like Cass School is the perfect middle ground, because it has the freedom of a public school, but also it's structured enough to where you're prepared for high school, for college, and for your career, and you get the experience and internships and everything that you want to get. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Well, that's great, Trinity, and I agree. That's the kind of real talk that especially, and I really encourage families is like, don't just have the parents go on the tour. Like bring your eighth, ninth, grader, to your rising 10th grader. Bring them on the tour so they can interact. Because like I remember I took my son with me to visit Cass Tech, and I just sort of stood back and let him have conversations with the students, and it was like so much more meaningful. Like I really think that teenagers need to have a say in what schools they go to, because you're gonna, like, it's your life. You're the one planning for your future, and you're gonna know where you fit the best. So thank you. Okay, so let me put Adrian up on screen. Adrian, you did a great job talking about the tours, but do you have any more like advice, like for maybe those 8th, 9th graders who are trying to think where they want to go to high school?
So I would just say that don't just think that the school is also just for like the super super smart educated kids, because yeah, we all start from somewhere, and I feel like that's where our school is about too, is we all start from somewhere, and this program and this school helps build you up to the point that you want to be at. So I do recommend that if you are interested in just getting a tour or just applying into the CAS schools after receiving your tour, you can check out more information on casschools.com. And you can also apply, which the deadline, I believe, to apply will be in October, or it's October 4th. Yes. No, so sorry, October 14th.
So some of the applications open in
Sorry.
October, but actually the deadlines aren't until January necessarily.
Yeah,
But it
sorry.
depends on the district. Yeah.
Sorry. So
That's
the
okay. It's not
deadline,
too late.
yeah, it's open starting in October. So if you are interested, I do recommend applying. because it is a really good school, and not even just CAST STEM, but all the other schools. That's why we do have these tours set up so that you can go and take a look and see which schools fit for you.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked that much about like yeah, Cast Lead, East Central, right? That's more like entrepreneurship, like hospitality, right? And then let's see, Cast Teach is the new one in Northside ISD, and that's for future teachers. So yeah, there's and Cast Med, right, which is it's a dual language school and it's focused on like medical careers. So yeah, I feel like we've just touched the surface, and I mean it's like it's so much information. I'm so grateful for you guys. Are like I don't know if we couldn't even accommodate like a student from every campus because there's so many different models in the network. But yeah, thanks Adrian for like including the other campuses as well. So okay, so Michael, you can kind of close this out. Like any advice you have for those like eighth, ninth graders like thinking about what to do for their high school career?
Of course, definitely consider CAST schools. If you're worried about being left out or like your previous conditions in other schools, we're all just one big family, and I think that applies to like every single school in the CAST network. And I think that's just because of how much each school is focused on just like collaboration more than any other school. You're going to be working so much with your peers and your teachers. You're going to get very close. Again, we're all about connections and collaboration, so you're definitely going to be really close to everyone. Won't have no friends, I promise. Um, but yeah. Oh,
I think I heard.
applications open October 31st. That's when they open
For
for
okay, for the SIC
SAIC.
ones. Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. And didn't Cast Tech, maybe Trinity can confirm this. Cast Tech and Cast Med had a joint prom? Was that
We
speaking of collaboration?
have a joint prom with no, we have a joint homecoming with Fox Tech, but we have our own separate prom.
Okay.
And Fox Tech has their own prom. I think ALA has their own too, right?
ALA has their own prom, but we actually have homecoming with all three schools.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Nice.
it's very
Nice.
nice.
So yeah, out of
Yeah.
the other CAST schools, we're probably the closest with ALA since we share a we don't share a building, but we share like a campus. with
Right.
them. So
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, people
No,
need to go on the tour and then they can see the buildings, right?
exactly. So yeah. One more thing that I'd like to close out with is like the main thing with the CAST schools and the CAST network is that it's always growing. And one thing that the way that I like to think about it, since I've been with the Advanced Learning Academy since its beginning, is that it really grows with you, for you. So it's so like student voice is such an important thing to the CAST network, and so they love giving the students platforms like to kind of express what kind of changes they'd like to see, how they would like to learn, what they would prefer as per like other schools. And so it's evolving, not just quantity wise. There's not just more. They're learning and they're taking in info and adapting. I think it's amazing. So CAST
Yeah.
network, good.
That's wonderful. Okay. Well, y'all have done an outstanding job. Thank you so much for, this it's part of, it's student voice and it's this spirit of service. I really appreciate y'all giving your time and, offering advice for families and students. And I hope this encourages more families to look into CAS schools for their students. So thank y'all so much. Have a great school day. Have a great evening.
thank you.
All right. Take care.